What's up guys, my name's Lexus More David, and today I have some homemade chicken, shrimp, bacon, fettuccine Alfredo. Making this was quite the adventure, so if you want to watch that, here it is. Okay, and then I'm gonna put this back on the fire. This looks freaking disgusting. Okay, I'm gonna add this bacon over here to this paper towel. These mofos are so fatty, I don't know how people eat them. Okay, so I just tried my noodles and they're a bit dry. I probably should have cooked my noodles in my sauce instead of cooking them separately and then adding them together. But because it's dry, I want to add more Alfredo sauce and maybe some milk. But when I open up the fridge to see if we have milk, see, this is my milk, which will change the flavor of my sauce. So I went to see if we have regular milk, and we don't, but we have this. I've never had milk from a box. I'm trusting you, Grandma. Also, she had this Alfredo sauce. I've never used this kind of Alfredo sauce before, so I'm cooking bacon right now, and then I'm gonna add the Alfredo sauce and the milk to thin it out, and then pour that over top of the noodles and all the other stuff that I cooked. I'm really hoping it doesn't ruin the integrity of the sauce. I don't think I've ever made a sauce that tastes that good. Like, I don't know if it's partly because I used where I cooked the bacon, where I cooked the shrimp, the remnants of garlic and seasoning, but that sauce tastes so good. Part of me wishes I could drink it. This is why I'm going on a diet. I've added a bunch of this Parmesan and Romano cheese to it because it tastes completely different than my other sauce. I also added some of the same seasonings that I added to the shrimp to try to make it a little bit more cohesive. This is Experiment Central right here. It tastes better. It tastes super fake. It tastes super fake. I'm gonna add some more milk to it. I don't know. I'm gonna add some milk and say a prayer. Okay, here we are. We're about to be past the point of no return. Maybe the sauce that I had already created will bring the grade of this sauce up, and this just won't terribly bring mine down. Okay, moment of truth right now. This is the new mixture of the sauce right here. Okay, thank you, Jesus. This is my fruit and veggie smoothie. This was made so long ago. I just finished microwaving this. When I finished cooking, I ended up having company. So this has been sitting here for maybe like 20 minutes, but it should still be good. Okay, first bite right here. I think that cooking the shrimp where I cooked the bacon was a good idea. This water. That water is so good. It tasted a little bit better before I microwaved it, but I still think it's really good. I mean, especially for someone who doesn't really know how to cook and didn't follow a recipe, it's really good.
Mmm. That bite of bacon was so good. Guys, guess what? So I heard back from 2 of the 4 schools that I've applied to so far this year. Both of the schools so far are acceptance letters. Bros, I'm so freaking excited. I've been trying to figure out what school I'm gonna go to, figure out the cost of living, stuff like that. I have been living with my grandma for the past 7 years. So I've never like moved out by myself per se. So it's like, I don't know. It's scary. It's so scary to think about. Ugh. I want to start going back to the gym. I haven't been to the gym in probably like a week and a half, 2 weeks. I've been wanting to swim, right? I've been wanting to swim. And so I found this gym that has an indoor pool. I was actually a member there for a year, like 4 years ago. So I was like, okay, let me go back there. They have a free 7-day trial. So I can do the trial and I can get my swimming urges out. So I went down there, and the day that I went, their pool was under maintenance or something along those lines. So the pool was completely closed. I was very upset. But because of that, the lady extended my 7-day trial to a 10-day trial. So I was like, dope. All right, when's the pool going to be open again? She said it's going to be open tomorrow. So I went the next day, bro, and I was swimming laps in this pool back and forth. And I was doing the backwards breaststroke. So I was staring at the ceiling. The pool was separated into lanes, and in the lane next to mine, there was this lady and her best friend. They were elderly and they were so cute. It was them swimming back and forth. And then all of a sudden, one of the ladies got out and she was talking to an employee and they were pointing in my lane. And I was like, why are you guys pointing in my lane? What's going on? I asked the employee what's going on. And he said, oh, nothing, there's dirt in the pool. I was like, okay. I knew he wasn't going to tell me anything. So I went to the lady and I was like, hey, what's going on? And she was like, there's a turd in the pool. And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, there's one right there in my lane right under where I was swimming. And she was like, there's about 3 or 4 of them and I keep trying to avoid them. She was like, I think someone let their little kid in here and wasn't watching them or something because they're all over the pool. And I was like, that's freaking disgusting. You know how long I've been waiting to go swimming, and now that I finally do? Eventually, the employee had to get everybody out of the pool, and they put like cones around it, and they had to like shock the pool, whatever that means. I think it's like a type of cleaning. I still had like 8 days left of my trial, but I didn't even go back. I mean, I wanted to go back because I liked their basketball court. I was gonna try their pool again, but I do still have a gym membership of my own. And even though they don't have like a pool or basketball court, it still has the basics of a gym. So I want to start going back to my own gym, and I want to start doing some things with my life. One of the main like goals for me is just no fast food and start eating things that are better for me. But I mean baby steps, because there was a time like about 4 or 5 months ago, I lost a bunch of weight. I lost about 20 pounds, but I lost it unhealthily, so I gained it all back plus some. So I want to do it better this time, slow and steady, and I want to do it to where I actually maintain the weight that I lose. So we are going to see how that's going to go. When my friend came over, all the fatty bits on the bacon that I like kept off, when my friend came over, she was eating it and I was like, how do you eat the fatty part? And she was like, it's the best part of the bacon. And she is probably like 40 pounds less than me. It's like, oh my gosh. That's crazy. Some of you guys have noticed that I haven't been posting a ton on like my Snapchat and Instagram stories. I've been having like, I don't want to say a bad couple of days, but like I haven't been in a good headspace. So I've taken an unofficial break from those stories. Yeah, I had I had a friendship breakup the other day, 2 days ago. And I think what made it difficult is because it wasn't just like a straightforward friendship. I was very much so interested in him romantically, and he had expressed that he was interested in me romantically as well. It's complicated why it wasn't working, but we both seemed to be interested parties. But at the end of the day, like, he just wasn't a good friend to me. Like, he was a pretty bad friend to me. And, like, not even in a, I don't even know how to phrase it. Like, I loved him, and I wasn't necessarily in love with him, but at a certain point, the lines between loving him and being in love with him kind of started to blur over, and I really tried my best to be, you know, good to him, and considerate, and patient, and loving, and kind, and all those things, and I think in many ways, he kind of just took that for granted, and he would never do the things he said he was going to do. He was really, like, unreliable and stuff. And it just, the friendship was very one-sided. I felt like I was putting in a bunch of effort and he was just reaping the benefits from that. Whether it was intentional or not, that's basically what happened. So I wrote him a goodbye. Like, I wrote him a 4-page goodbye letter. And it was really difficult. It's annoying because it sounds so cliche, but I guess it's the whole head versus heart thing. Like, I'm a very empathetic person. I'm a romantic. I'm a very, like, one of my goals in life is to find my person, is to find the person I'm going to spend forever with. That's, like, what I want, you know? And so it was very difficult to see so many things that I liked in this person and to, like, be aware of how much I care about them, and then logically have to be like, this isn't your person, you know, this is bordering on emotionally abusive relationship. Like, this is not healthy for you. You need to walk away. And so, like, I had to, like, find the strength to walk away, but it, like, it killed me, guys. Like, it was really, really hard. And I've been not upset about it. I'm thankful for it. I'm thankful that I had the strength to walk away. I've known this guy that I just said goodbye to. I've known him for about 1.5 years. When you care about someone so much and they're not putting in any effort, you just feel rejected. You know, you feel like they're rejecting you in every way a person can be rejected. And then they only come to you when it's convenient for them, or when they want you, or when they're lonely or something. Or maybe they do love you, they're just unable to show it. And if they do but are unable to show it, then they have things that they need to figure out with their life. And so it's just like, I don't know. Yeah, it's just been kind of like weighing on my mind. But it's also reminded me that, like, I need to focus on what I'm doing. I need to focus on college. I need to focus on my channel. I need to focus on all my goals and ambitions, my weight. Like, I need to go back to the state of mind of, like, you know, I need to better myself and do for myself, and the right person will come along. And I pray that as I'm trying to work on myself and better myself, that my future husband is working and trying to better himself as well. But I don't know, I still have days. I just really want to have a moment where I can just cry it out. I just want to cry. That way, nothing later down the road will trigger it. You know, because it's hard for me to talk about, you know, and I don't just want to repress it and become numb to it and not feel it. I want to feel my feelings because feelings demand to be felt. I actually think that's a line in The Fault in Our Stars. Is that the line in The Fault in Our Stars? Feelings demand to be felt, or pain demands to be felt, something like that. So now that so I just want, I'm basically going to try to set time aside to be sad. I'm going to listen to sad music, watch sad movies so I can get all of my crying out so I can just be better, and the healing process will officially be started. You know what I haven't had in a long time? I haven't had a crab in a really long time. Maybe I'll do like a seafood boil or something. I saw a quote on Google. I think it was from like Buddha or something. But it was like the difference between someone who loves a flower and someone who likes a flower. Someone who likes a flower will pluck it, whereas someone who loves it will water it daily. I thought that was cute. I also think that applies to my situation with this dude. Yeah. I feel like this bag of veggies was a dud. One thing, it was supposed to be broccoli, cauliflower, and carrots. There was more carrots than anything else. And there was more broccoli stalks than like the broccoli head. Is that what they're called? There was more like the stems of broccoli than like the bushy part, the head of the broccoli. There was hardly any heads of broccoli, but I have a million of the... You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying. I want to go do a bunch of like recreational things. Like I want to go to a shooting range. I want to go hiking. I want to go kayaking, swimming. I want to do a lot of stuff. Yeah, I live in such a small town. There's like nothing to do here. Bacon and carrots are a weird combination. The other day, I was on my period last week, right? And I was at work. And it was like, was that last week? It was International Women's Day. When was International Women's Day?
Checking my sources. The answer is Thursday, the 8th of March, 2018.
Thursday. Yeah, that was last week. It was a week and a day ago. Okay, so last week was International Women's Day. And so I work at a college. The campus that I worked at gave free pizza to every woman on campus. So me and my boss's boss, we all went down for pizza. And I was on my period. Ironic for Women's Day. I was expressing my womanhood. And then so we went down for pizza. And it was Papa John's. So they had about 4 different kinds of pizza. They had cream cheese and bagels, and I think they had like cookies or something. So what I did is I got pepperoni pizza, and I poured the Papa John's like garlic butter on it. I also was like dipping it in cream cheese, and it was so good. And my boss was like, "That's pregnant food. Is there something I should know about?" And I was like, "No, I'm just on my cycle." And she was like, "Oh, yeah, that's definite period food right there." But I can't tell if it was actually really just that good or if it was just a weird craving that satisfied me. So I was thinking about doing a video where I try the foods that I've eaten on my period when I was gonna say when I'm sober. Yes, I'll be sober. When I'm not on my period, when I'm average, when I'm just regular, and then seeing if it really is good or if it's just my hormones being out of whack that makes it good in the moment. I've been thinking about doing that. Because I've eaten some weird stuff around my period, guys. I've eaten some weird stuff, or at least that's what I get told. Because I feel like the food combinations are good. One time, I have this TV dinner. It was a chicken fettuccine Alfredo TV dinner. As you can tell, it's one of my favorite foods. So I had the TV dinner. I think I put M&Ms and sour cream and onion Pringles in it. But it was pretty good. It's pretty good. This other time, I kept a jar of Nutella in my fridge, and I would always put Nutella on my tacos. Yeah, like I will just eat whatever I want and mix whatever I want around that time. So, yeah. Huh. You know what I've been watching a lot of lately? I've been watching a lot of Sabrina the Teenage Witch. It's on Amazon Prime. It's so weird. One thing I never usually do is start multiple shows at one time. Normally, I will start one show, I'll finish that show, I'll go on to another one, and I'll do that. But I have so many series that I'm in the middle of. And I think this is what happened. Oh, condensation, my goodness. Cold. All down my leg. Ooh. Oh, dang it, I'm out of water. I think what started my watching a million series at a time, I was watching Supernatural, right? I started watching Supernatural maybe like 4 months ago. I'm not sure. But it was one of those shows that I always heard about in high school, so I was like, I want to start this. And so I didn't know that Supernatural is still being created. I think they're on like season 14 or something. So I started watching it and I started downing them, episode. And then eventually, about a month or 2 months, probably 2 months in, I was at like season 8, all right? Season 8 of like 14. So I was like, okay, this is a little bit difficult because I noticed the progression in Supernatural, like how more, like it's crazy how when you're watching a show, how you can see kind of like the rules of TV starting to change. So if you've never seen Supernatural, it's basically like, I don't know what I would compare it to. Maybe kind of like a dash of Dexter, some of like CSI Miami, some of like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I don't know. I've never seen Buffy, but like it's that. And so there's people like dying, killing, murder, stuff like that. And it's very difficult for me to watch that kind of stuff because it makes me nauseous. So I noticed that over the years, as the seasons progressed in Supernatural, certain things started, I don't know if it started becoming more loud or if they just started taking more risks or what changed, but in the beginning seasons of Supernatural, whenever somebody was killed, like the camera would pan away or the screen would turn to black or the screen would go up and you can just see blood splatter on whatever object is there, stuff like that. But kind of like when it started getting around season 6, season 7, season 8, instead of the camera moving away or the screen turning to black, the camera would stay on the person who is being murdered, right? So instead of it just like, oh, they just slit their throat, it's like, now you're watching them slit their throat, and it makes me so nauseous. I hate it, and I hate it so much because I used to always watch Supernatural on my lunch break and then when I would come home from work. And so whenever I'm trying to eat on my lunch break and I'm just watching like blood and stuff, it's just, it makes me so sick. And I'm like, this is so gross. And then so I went from Netflix to Amazon Prime because they had Sabrina the Teenage Witch. So I started watching that. I started watching Doctor Who. I started watching like a bunch of different shows. And so I'm in the middle of so many things. I'm in the middle of so many things. And I don't want to become that person that starts something and then will never go back and finish it. But that's kind of where I am in life right now. I started watching Girl Meets World on Netflix, right? The Disney Channel show. And one of the episodes, if you ever saw Boy Meets World, if you know who Sean is, Sean was in there and he was basically talking about this girl that he loves. And he's pleading to her daughter on, you know, why he wants to marry the daughter's mother.
Why do you want to marry my mother?
To get back at me. Because I love her, Maya.
Words. Those are just words.
Yeah, they are. But I don't say those words a lot, all right? I was never even sure what they meant. And now I am. They're the best words I got. So they're important. I want you to understand them.
It was just so cute. And that just made me cry because I was writing this goodbye letter to this guy. And I was just in my feels, but I wasn't, because it was before I said goodbye to him, I don't think I fully got all of my crying out. Honestly, you guys, when I said goodbye to this guy, this guy that I've been friends with for 1.5 years, and I do have a lot of love for him, it was on my lunch break, okay? So I still had 4.5 hours of work that I had to get through. So I couldn't really feel any of my feelings. I had to push it all aside. I went in the bathroom and I kept trying to say, like, you're okay. You're okay. And then, like, my eyes started to water and I was like, no, you're okay. And then I started to feel the tears kind of fall a little bit and I was like, no, this isn't the time or the place, you're fine. I went back to my job. You know, you couldn't tell I was making jokes and stuff with my boss like I normally do. And then I was hanging out with one of my friends. Her boyfriend is in a band. He's in a metal band. So he had practice, and so they invited me to their practice. So it was my first experience going to a band practice and my first actual experience in a metal environment. Honestly, I expected to hate it because whenever I think of metal and screamo and stuff, it just doesn't sound appeasing. But it wasn't bad at all. It really wasn't bad. I was very surprised. But I did that for a lot of the night, and then I had to wake up and go to work the next day. So I haven't genuinely had time to just feel my feelings. I tried to be sad after work yesterday, but really nothing was coming out. Like, I felt almost numb. Like, the tears wouldn't come out. But I know that I'm not okay yet because it's difficult for me to talk about it. It's difficult for me to talk about it. I was telling my grandma about it. One of the things that she had asked when I was telling her that I had given him his letter and started to walk away, she had asked, and he didn't ask you to stay? No, he didn't. I think it's common for people when they're in a relationship that they feel is one-sided, that all they want from the other person is effort, is some type of gesture so that they know that they care, that they matter, something like that. And so the fact that he let me walk away really did hurt. And the fact that my grandma re-brought it to my attention, it just kind of really hurt. Ring-a-ling-a-ling, ring-a-ding-a-ding. But I mean, even my grandma trying to talk about it. We talked about it for a while, and then I was like, you know, I don't want to talk about it. And she was like, that's fine, I want to talk about it. And I was like, no, but grandma, I don't want to talk about it. And so, I know that I just need to cry it out. And I know that time heals all wounds. I don't know. Anyway, this is like the cutest plate. Do you guys see this plate? This is adorable. Oh my gosh. This is so cute. Water smoothie. Alfredo. Everything's done. Alright, guys. Alright, guys. I hope you don't mind that this video is a lot more relaxed and calm instead of upbeat and happy like it normally is. But if you did enjoy it, don't forget to... Once again, my name is Lexus Amour David. Also, subscribe and turn on post notifications. Alright. I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys. Imagine, oh my gosh, I was just about to say, imagine if I accidentally dropped this in there and spilled a crap load, but
No worries, I already just spilled a crap load right there.